In Acts chapter 10, we read, "There was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius, the centurion of the band called the Italian Band." I used to read that verse and picture Cornelius playing guitar as part of an Italian rock band. But that's not what this verse means. Cornelius is in the army. He's part of a military group known as the Italian cohort. He's a Gentile, but is a believer in God. As he's praying one day, an angel comes to him and says, "There's a guy named Peter who's living in Joppa, and you need to reach out to him." Joppa is about 40 miles from Caesarea, where Cornelius lived. So Cornelius sent some of his servants to ask Peter to come and visit him. Meanwhile, Peter's praying on his rooftop, and he has a vision. In this vision, he sees unclean beasts coming down from heaven, and he hears a voice telling him to kill the unclean beasts and eat them. We might read this and think, well, that's kind of weird, but it was really shocking for Peter. The unclean beasts are non-kosher animals. These are beasts you're not supposed to eat according to the law of Moses. In fact, Peter says, "Never in my whole life have I eaten this type of food." This would be like you having a vision of cans of beer and cigarettes falling to the ground, and you hear a voice saying, "Drink beer and smoke." Wouldn't you be shocked? You might think, I've got to stop watching those shows that are driving away the spirit from my life. You'd be astounded. Well, that's kind of what happens to Peter. He has this vision 3 times and hears the words, "What God has cleansed, thou shalt not call common." While Peter's pondering what all this means, the Spirit says to him, "Some people are looking for you. Go with them." At the same time, Cornelius' servants are knocking on Peter's door. They explain their situation to Peter, and so the next day, Peter and the servants go to Caesarea. When Peter meets Cornelius, Cornelius explains that he has seen a vision and been told to seek for Peter. Suddenly, Peter understands what his vision meant. In Acts chapter 10, verse 34, we read, "Then Peter began to speak to them. I truly understand that God shows no partiality, but in every nation, anyone who fears him and does what is right is acceptable to him." Peter realizes that his vision of unclean beasts means that Gentiles who had used to be treated as outsiders were now to be brought into the fold of Christ. To us, this seems like a no-brainer, but at the time, this was a huge change.
To see more videos like this one, simply search Seeking Jesus.